Yeah. Good morning. All members will please come to the floor. All members come to the floor. Because the hour of convening haven't arrived, all members please come to the floor. Mr. Clerk, will you ring that bell? Well, good morning on this Thursday morning. I hope that none of the weather that's impacted part of our state has been too devastating to cause much harm, so there's some out there. So I know we'll all be on notice. Heard of some tornado warnings in Warner Robins area this morning. I think it was moving on across the state. So we'll say a prayer for all those folks. If you'll do that, Chaplain, folks that may be subjected to some damage from the weather that's moving across the state.
Yes, sir.
If you'll close us out with that when you say a prayer, we'd appreciate it. We're going to have the morning roll call. All members that are present will please vote green to signify their presence in the chamber, and Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. Doorkeepers, if you'll please close the doors and keep them closed. As is our custom, we will begin our day with scripture reading and prayer by our chaplain, after which we will pledge allegiance to the flag of our country. Our chaplain this morning will be brought to us by the gentleman from the 131st House District over in Columbia, Richmond, just Columbia County. I know you were neighbors to Richmond. Columbia County. Representative Rob Clifton has invited our chaplain, and we're glad he did. If you want to come up and introduce our chaplain, it'd be great.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce Eric Kennedy. Eric has been in recovery from drugs and alcohol for more than 15 years, and his powerful story of redemption has become the foundation of a ministry dedicated to help others find hope and healing. After hitting rock bottom and rebuilding his life through faith, recovery, and community, Eric now spends his time helping couples restore their marriages and families. Eric is the founder of Recovery Vow, a nonprofit committed to helping marriages and families thrive after addiction, and he is the author of a book, Marriage After Addiction, Taking Back Our Lives Together. Eric and his wife live in our community back home with their 3 children, Cameron, Christian, and Charlie Kate. They serve together at Stevens Creek Church, where Eric continues to share his passion for recovery, marriage, and faith. Please join me in welcoming Eric Kennedy.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate you being here.
Let me put these readers on because I've gotten to that age where I need them. Good morning, and thank you so much for letting me be here with you in the house this morning. Thank you, Rob, and thank you, Speaker Burns, for allowing me to be here. I'd like to open by letting you know that if you came here for some magical sermon, you came to the wrong one. I am a pastor, and I serve for Stevens Creek Church, but I oversee part of the business of our church and our development. But this morning, I did want to just come to you because I want to have this opportunity to just spend time with you in conversation. I didn't come to preach a message, but I do want to just talk to you one-on-one. Everyone has some kind of calling on their life, and every one of us are carrying something. If you think about it, everyone in this room is recovering from something. Now, maybe not all of you were in addiction of any kind, but I think all of us are in some kind of recovery. And no matter what side of the room you sit on, I bet every person in here really carried something with them. For example, some of those may be addiction. It could be anxiety. Maybe it's grief. Maybe it's pressure. Maybe it's a broken relationships. Maybe it's mistakes you've made. Things just happen to us. But I just want you to remember that we are all carrying something. And through my work with Recovery Vow and the millions that I've had the opportunity to reach, I get to see change happen, and some of that stuff that they carry kind of go away. In my life, I've seen how the sadness can bring, or how addiction just brings sadness to you or to me and to the family. But what it does to the families and what it does to the marriage and what it does to communities is truly painstaking, but it can be changed. I've also seen something very powerful, and that's the triumph of recovery. I've seen lives be rebuilt. I've seen my own life be rebuilt. I've seen marriages restored. I've seen families come back together. And recovery doesn't just happen from policy and programs. It often comes from something a lot deeper. It comes from something like confidence. It comes from hope and belief, and people just believing in a better future, and that future is possible. Here's what I really want you to hear today, is that sometimes confidence and hope carry people, and it's more powerful than laws and the conversations that you have and that you pass here. Now, if I was going to bring a message from the Bible this morning, my favorite story in the Bible is from Mark 2. And if you remember from Mark 2, it's when Jesus had returned to Capernaum, and he went inside of Peter's house, and he sat in the middle of this room. And it was a crowded house. It was a crowded place. But people packed inside. People were standing outside the door, and outside of the house, a man was paralyzed. Now, in the story, it doesn't tell us what paralyzed the man. You can replace that with maybe it was his addiction to something. Maybe he was depressed. Maybe he was anxious. Or maybe just the weight of the world in his life had just become unmanageable. He couldn't get to Jesus on his own. But remember, there were people inside the room. There were people gathered outside the room. And there were people that were coming. And it took a group of friends. It took a group of friends to come along and just pick him up and carry him and do some work. Now, here's the problem. The crowd was too big. The door was blocked. And what did they do? They carried him on top of Peter's house, where they ripped the roof off. Now, I've been to Capernaum. I've had the opportunity to go to Israel, and the streets are just as narrow as these hallways. So there was a lot of work to carry this individual. But that was their goal. Here's why the story matters to me. Every group of people, whether they were inside the room, outside the room, or if they were paralyzed on a mat, wanted to be closer to Jesus. The friends that carried him, the people that were outside of the house, and the people inside the house, they all had different roles, but all of them had that common desire. So here's how I want to bring that connection to the leadership that you guys have. When I think about the work that you are all signed up to do, I think about that story. Because leadership looks a lot like that sometimes. Sometimes you're the one that's being carried. Sometimes you're the one doing the work. And sometimes you're the ones that are just in the room. Because we're either are in something, we're going into something, or we're coming out of something. And if we could interview every one of those people from back then, I think that we would all have to the same thing in common. The people inside the room, the people outside of the room, people on the roof, I bet all of them were carrying something just like we did when we came in this room this morning. Here's my gratitude. Today, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the responsibilities that you carry. Thank you for stepping into difficult decisions, because what you do today matters, and what you do tomorrow matters even more. My final encouragement for you is I just want you to lead with confidence. I want you to lead with humility. I want you to lead with hope. And as best as we can, we do what everybody wanted to do that day, and that's just be closer to God as we understand Him. The simple prayer I have for myself sometimes is to be more like Him and less like me. Before I close today, I want to say this. 16 years ago, I was heavy in addiction. I was sleeping outside. I was homeless. I had 2 little boys that were in diapers, and I couldn't take care of them. And that's a sad, pitiful story. But look where I'm standing in a room at the state capitol today with a bunch of men and women that are just going to make a lot of decisions today. And how powerful of a story is that? Somebody carried me to the top of a roof and did the work and lowered me down to the foot of Christ. Let me pray for you. And if you would you stand? Father, I come to you this morning, and I sincerely thank you so much for the work that you've done in my life. I thank you so much for the work that you're doing in the men and women's lives that are represented in this room. God, I cannot say how much I am so thankful for the relationship with you, but I want to speak on behalf of every one of us that walked in the room this morning. Maybe we're walking into something, maybe we're in it, maybe we're walking out of something, but Lord, I just want every one of us to remember that you are present with us, you are here with us, and you will always be with us. Lord, we love you, we thank you, and it's in your Son's name you bless this house, you bless us, and you bless the state of Georgia. It's in your Son's name we pray. Amen. Can we pledge allegiance to the flag?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, sir.
Doorkeepers, you may open the doors. Thank you, Brother Eric. We appreciate that message, and we're grateful for you and your ability to be here today, and the life you're leading, and the lives you're blessing. Thank you. Members, you may join Brother Eric in the South Ante room and give him thanks for being with us today, and get a photo. Members, our Doctor of the Day is brought to us by Representative Sheila Jones, my classmate. We came to this place a few years ago. So thank you, Representative Jones. And that doctor is Dr. Walter McClellan. So if you need Dr. McClellan, he'll be downstairs and he'll take care of you. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, is recognized. Chairman Hilton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Your Committee on Information and Audits has read the journal of the previous legislative day, and we have found it to be correct.
That man's a speed reader because he's a speed talker. Chairman Hilton, the chair of the Committee on Information and Audits, reports that the journal of the previous legislative day has been read and found to be correct. Is there any objection to dispense with the reading of the journal? Hearing none, the reading of the journal is dispensed with, Is there any objection to the confirmation of the journal? Hearing none, the journal is confirmed. Mr. Clerk, will you read the resolution establishing the order of business for the day?
Representative Administration of the 104th moves following be established as the order of business during the first part of the period. Unanimous consents. Introduction of bills and resolutions. First reading and reference of House bills and resolutions. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Reports of standing committees. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bills and resolutions. Morning orders.
Is there any objection to the adoption of the resolution establishing the order of business for the day? Hearing none, the resolution is adopted. First reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1535 by Representative Silcox of the 53rd, Panitch of the 51st, Holland the 54th, and Roberts the 52nd. Bill be titled an act to authorize City of Sandy Springs to exercise all redevelopment and other powers.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1536 by Representative Rose, the 124th, and Washburn, and the 144th. Bill be titled an act to provide a new charter for the City of Eatonton.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1537 by Representative Herring of the 145th, Paris of the 142nd, Jones of the 143rd, Griffin of the 149th, and Washburn of the 144th. Bill be titled an act to provide a homestead exemption from Bibb County School District ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Bill 1538 by Representative Herring of the 145th, Paris of the 142nd, Jones of the 143rd, Griffin of the 149th, Washburn of the 144th. Bill be titled an act to provide a homestead exemption from Macon Bibb County ad valorem taxes.
Intergovernmental coordination.
House Resolution 1654 by Representative Flournoy, the 74th, Al, the 50th, Cannon, the 58th, Roberts, the 52nd, Herring, and the 145th. Resolution urging Georgia medical schools to prioritize patient-centered care.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1655 by Representative Hawkins, the 27th, Mathis, the 133rd, Green, the 154th, Taylor, the 173rd, Iowa, the 50th. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Diabetes-related amputations.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1656 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Irwin of the 32nd, Ballard of the 147th, Hughley of the 141st, Park of the 107th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on School Nutrition.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1657 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, Taylor of the 173rd, Green of the 154th, Hawkins of the 27th, and Stevens of the 164th, and others. A resolution creating the House Study Committee on Medicaid waiver populations and long-term financial and administrative sustainability.
Special rules.
House Resolution 1658 by Representative Barnes of the 86th, Drenner of the 85th, Holcomb of the 101st, Mitchell of the 88th, and McLean of the 109th. A resolution recognizing Representative Michelle Henson and dedicating an interchange in her honor.
Transportation.
House Resolution 1662 by Representative Momtahan of the 17th, Gaines of the 120th, Smith of the 18th, Jones of the 25th, Burchett of the 176th, and others. A resolution recognizing the leadership of President Donald J. Trump. You're good, sir.
Special rules.
That completes first readers.
Members of the House will come to order. We have a very, very special guest that's joined us today, a former member of this House. All members of the House will please come to the floor, take your seats, but more importantly, cease conversations. All members. Members, we'll welcome a former member of this House back to the House. So I'm going to ask you if you will have your conversations postpone, those very important conversations, just for a few minutes. Thank you, members. You know, I know of no one was any more beloved by the members of this House than the former Speaker of this House, Speaker David Ralston, and Representative Doug Collins. The Speaker thought the world of him, and he of the Speaker. So it's always been a great conversation and a great reunion getting back together with Representative Collins, Congressman Collins, leaving all your accolades out, aren't I? And thank you for what your service in Washington in the Congress. But we're certainly very fortunate, and our veterans around this country that may be around this world these days who certainly served this country and gave their all, sacrificed greatly, but certainly deserve the support of our country. And I can think of no better person to ensure that we were fulfilling our obligation to our veterans than a former veteran himself, than our friend Doug Collins of Georgia, who is now our Secretary of Veterans Affairs. So help me welcome this Secretary to the People's House and thank him for his service.
Good stuff. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. It is good to be back in the People's House in Georgia. Believe me, there are days in Washington, D.C. when I look out my window and I do see a great view of a White House and I see a Capitol and I see other things, but I'll tell you the one thing that I still remember, Miss Carolyn is sitting right here where I cut my teeth. See, Mr. Al, I see all of you standing around here today. It is with that I take to Washington, D.C. It was the common sense approach in this House and many of you working across the aisle that we actually found common ground. President Trump last year when he appointed me to be the Secretary of VA, he said one thing. I asked him my question. I said, Mr. President, what do you want me to do? And he looked at me and he said one thing. He said, take care of our veterans. Well, I'm here to tell you and report back to my fellow state, home state, and me as a veteran, to say in the past year, we took a department that had become too self-centered. Y'all seen that around government? Where it became too worried about itself, it wasn't worried about the veterans, and we changed that. We said veterans first at the VA. Everything we do is focused on the veterans. And in the last year, here's what we've been able to do. We took a backlog of 260,000 backlog disability claims. We lowered those to 90,000 in less than a year. We took the average day. We took the average days to complete for our veterans from 137 days down to 70 days. And if I can get Pete, our Department of War, looking at it, we're going to drop that down to where hopefully by the end of this year, and I'm telling you right now, for some of you who have to deal with this, we're looking to have veterans' disability claims done between 30 and 45 days. That's never happened at the VA. We've opened 30 clinics across the country. We're opening about 30 more. We've processed over 3 million disability claims. Again, another record. We've lowered wait times at our hospitals. And I'm here to tell you for our Georgia, I have already took notice for Atlanta, Augusta, and Dublin, and our clinics in between, that they're our home, and I expect them to be nothing but the best, and we're making great progress in all as we go forward. So when you look at it, our veterans just need one thing. They understand that we respect them. And right now, across this world right now, I just ask for you just to remember in a moment that as we get to speak right here and as you get to make laws for the state of Georgia and help our veterans as they come home, right now we have brothers and sisters, those that I've served with and still serve with, that right now are in harm's way. And just this past week, we've had some whose families know that they're not coming home. The price of freedom is never cheap. The price of freedom is always paid by those who raise their right hand and say, I'm willing to go when others wouldn't. My job is the best job in the world. I get to take care of over 450,000 employees. I get to take care of a budget this large, but at the end of the day, I get to take care of the best people in the entire world, and that is our veterans. And where it all started was about 3 rows back, finding out what it meant to listen to people, to say, what can we do to help? And at the end of the day, we can agree and we can disagree. But at the bottom line, at the VA, the veteran comes first. God bless you. Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, one thing to say. Thank you for the work you're doing. We appreciate you. Thank you, members, for your attention. Members, you can join Secretary Collins in that South Ante room and thank him for his service and what he's doing and take a photo with him, and any question, I'm sure he can answer it. Second reading of bills and resolutions. Mr. Clerk will read.
House Bill 1526 by Representative Green of the 154th, a bill to repeal a former local constitutional amendment. House Bill 1527 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, a bill to provide homestead exemption from City of Franklin Springs ad valorem taxes. And House Bill 1528 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of the City of Franklin Springs. House Bill 1529 by Representative Powell of the 33rd, a bill to authorize the assessment and collection of a technology fee by the Municipal Court of Cannon. House Bill 1530 by Representative Barton of the 5th and Ridley of the 6th, a bill to amend, enact, or repeal and replace the charter of the city of Fairmount. House Bill 1531 by Representative Jaspers of the 11th, a bill to amend, enact, providing a new charter for the city of Ball Ground. House Bill 1532 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th and Tarvin of the 2nd, a bill to amend, enact, to continue the existence of the Dalton Independent School System. House Bill 1533 by Representative Carpenter of the 4th and Tarvin of the 2nd, a bill to amend and act to continue the existence of the Dalton Independent School System. House Bill 1534 by Representative Westbrook of the 163rd, Stevens of the 164th, Petrie of the 166th, Jackson of the 165th, and Hitchens of the 161st, a bill to amend and act creating the State Court of Chatham County. House Resolution 1649 by Representative Hatchett of the 155th, a resolution honoring the life of Sheriff Russell Tanner and dedicating a road in his memory. House Resolution 1650 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd and Crow of the 118th, a resolution creating the House Study Committee on Local Government Emergency Disaster Relief Loans. House Resolution 1651 by Representative Clifton of the 131st, Powell of the 33rd, Richardson of the 125th, Hawkins of the 27th, and Mathis of the 133rd, a resolution honoring the life of Senator Ben Joseph Joey Brush Jr. and dedicating an intersection in his memory. Through second readers.
Reports of standing committees. Mr. Clerk will read.
President Robert Dickey, the 134th District Chairman of the Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Agriculture and Consumer Affairs has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate, has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 435 do pass. Senate Bill 551 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Robert Dickey, the 134th District Chairman. Representative Josh Bonner of the 73rd District, Chairman of the Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Defense and Veteran Affairs has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate, has instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 555 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Josh Bonner of the 73rd District Chairman. Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District Chairman of the Committee on Higher Education submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Higher Education has had under its consideration the following bills of the Senate. It has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 432 do pass. Senate Bill 523 do pass by committee substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Chuck Martin of the 49th District, Chairman. Representative Lauren McDonald of the 26th District, Chairman of the Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Local, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Intergovernmental Coordination and Local has had under its consideration the following bills of the House and Senate. It instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. House Bill 1507 do pass. House Bill 1508 do pass. House Bill 1513 do pass. Senate Bill 544 do pass. Respectfully submitted, Representative Lauren McDonald of the 26th District, Chairman. Representative Camp of the 135th District, Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary Juveniles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Judiciary Juveniles had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate. It's instructed me to report the same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 402 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Camp of the 135th District, Chairman. Representative Matt Barton of the 5th District, Vice Chairman of the Committee on Motor Vehicles, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Motor Vehicles has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate. It's instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendation. Senate Bill 295 do pass. Respectfully submitted. Senate Bill 295 do pass by substitute. Respectfully submitted, Representative Matt Barton of the 5th District, Vice Chairman. Representative Sharon Cooper of the 45th District, Chairman of the Committee on Public and Community Health, submitted the following report. Mr. Speaker, your Committee on Public and Community Health has had under its consideration the following bill of the Senate and has instructed me to report same back to the House with the following recommendations. Senate Bill 535.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. We're going to move on to the local calendar. One bill on the local calendar relates to homestead exemption, requires a recorded two-thirds roll call vote for passage. Third reading and passage of uncontested local bill. If there's no objection, we will vote on the local calendar as a whole with a recorded vote. Hearing none, it is ordered. Mr. Clerk, will you read the local calendar?
House Bill 1507 by Representative Meeks in the 178th Wayne County. House Bill 1508 by Representative Franklin in the 160th City of Pembroke. House Bill 1513 by Representative Bonner of the 73rd Fayette County. And Senate Bill 544 by Senator Williams of the 25th Butts County.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered on the local calendar? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bills? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall these bills now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bills will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of the local calendar, the yeas are 158, the nays are 0. These bills, having received the requisite constitutional majority, are therefore passed. Members, we're going to move on to the local calendar. Excuse me, morning order. I beg your pardon. We just did the local calendar. Morning orders. If the Hall County delegation will join Chairman Hawkins down front. Members, if you'll please come to your seats. Chairman Hawkins, his morning order is going to be recognizing a team initially. Then we'll ask you to stand for the second part of his morning order, the second part. He'll let you know when he transitions into the next part. Chairman Hawkins and the Hall County delegation is recognized for a morning order.
Hey,
Start again,
are we on
please.
now? Okay, thank you. We again have the North Hall girls team here who has been here before. They have been state champions, and once again they have come through again to be the 2025 Class 3A State Cross Country Championship team. These ladies have worked very hard with a very great coach, day in and day out, month in and month out, all during the year, obviously. They have two standouts that are with them today. Summer Muxlow is the GHSA 3A state champion, and sophomore Erling Kennedy, who finished on the all-state podium in third place. They're off on our left. If you will recognize them, congratulations. Go ahead and stand up. There you go. Go ahead and just run around in circles a little bit. All right. Thank you. We'll see y'all downstairs in a few minutes.
Members, if you'll stand, please, and certainly give the members in the well your full attention, and certainly the gentleman is recognized for some condolences.
If you look on the screen, you will see a picture of Jason Hughes. We're here today to recognize and commend the life of Jason Hughes for his commitment to investing in the lives of students and community. Jason was a loyal husband, nurturing father, and devoted teacher. He passionately taught the subject of math at North Hall High School and was revered by the students and his colleagues. He has been an active coach not only at North Hall's high school soccer and football teams, but also his son's teams. He's also known as a mentor to many. Jason served as an advisor to the school's Fellowship of Christian Athletes program and spearheaded the NG3 Mentor Program, which connects youth to their community leaders in an effort to build their character, leadership, skills, and most importantly, instill these great qualities through their faith. Jason made an impact not only in pouring into his students, but investing into their future as well. He's remembered always as having a listening ear, being a shoulder to cry on, creating a safe and accepting environment for his students and anyone who had the privilege of the conversation with him. Jason Hughes was a man whose community respected him as much as he did them. His steadfast position as a role model for people of all ages introduced a gracious and inspiring atmosphere into our community. And his consistent positive influence had a rippling effect that showed no boundaries. Jason had a mission of aiding students in whatever endeavor their hearts desired. He was a man of great faith and taught them humility and grace. Hall County suffered a tragedy on March 7th, 2026, when Jason Hughes' life was taken in an unimaginable tragedy. The community had stuck with a wave of heartbeat confusion, and along with Hughes' family, will live with this unsurmountable grief for years to come. Let us pray for his family. And I'd like to add just a personal note. Our family was familiar with him. My grandson, Charlie, actually stayed at their house a few weeks ago with his son. They played soccer together. My daughter-in-law taught with Jason. And I can tell you that the kids that this happened to are all grieving. Jason actually slid on some wet grass trying to catch them. And this is a competition that's going on for years and years in North Hall. You go roll the teacher's yard, usually the teacher you like the most, and if they caught you, they got a point. If they got away, the kids got a point. So it's a very unfortunate accident. The family's pleading with the DA to drop charges against the children. So if you will give us a moment of silence, thank you. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members. Our condolences and our hearts go out to his widow and that family and into that entire community. So members, continue to keep them in your prayers. Representative Huddleston and Glaze. Representative Glaze and Huddleston. And friends, yes, and friends. Let's go. If you care about beef and you care about some of that good steak biscuit we had this morning, that was awesome. Give our gratitude and our thanks to our cattlemen. Okay, wait a minute. You got a couple more coming.
Yep, there they come. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Yes, today I hope everybody had the opportunity to enjoy the steak biscuits. I want to commend all the cattlemen members that showed up this morning. We got here as early as 4 o'clock this morning, battled the rain, and like you said, provided a good meal for everybody representing the beef industry. Today, Mr. Speaker, colleagues, we want to recognize Cayuga County Cattlemen's Association, headquartered in Noonan, Georgia. Cayuga County was established in 1949, as long stood as a pillar of leadership, service, stewardship with Georgia agricultural community. Cayuga County Cattlemen Association is widely recognized as the oldest continuously active Cattlemen's Association chapter in the state of Georgia, representing generations of cattle producers who have worked diligently to strengthen and advance the beef cattle industry. In 2026, the Cayuga County Cattlemen's Association will celebrate its 77th year anniversary, marking more than 7 decades of dedicated service to agriculture, rural families, and the cattle industry of Cayuga County and throughout the state of Georgia. Since its founded, the Cayuga County Cattlemen's Association has played a vital role in promoting the best management practices, animal health, land stewardship, beef quality assurance, while preserving the proud agricultural heritage of Cayuga County in the state of Georgia. The association has demonstrated an endured commitment to education, youth development, and leadership through the support of agriculture education programs, youth livestock activities, and community engagement. Colleagues, if you will, please welcome the Cayuga County Cattlemen. They're up there to the gallery. Yeah, y'all stand up. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you all for weathering the weather today, but you do that every day. So thank you all for what y'all do, and we appreciate our cattle industry in this state. It's a great day to be a part of this great state. Thanks for being a part of the House this morning. All right, members, we're going to move on to morning orders. We're going to have a little time limit here on the rest of you, and I hope you'll comply. Chairman Dickey. Gentleman has about a minute. Can you do that?
Yes, sir.
He can do that. So the rest of you have about a minute too. If he can do it, you can do it.
You
Gentleman's
say,
recognized.
As good as those steaks biscuits were, I'm going to highlight another great Georgia crop this morning, our Georgia peaches. And we're very privileged to have our Georgia peach queens up in the balcony. If they would stand, our peaches are a great crop. We're third in the nation on growing them, and I just want to highlight these beautiful young ladies who came here this morning and have participated in a wonderful pageant. And we have 5 of them. We have Miss Georgia Peach, Miss Lily Barfield from Elko, Georgia. Chairman Noah Williams' district is where she's from. And Miss Teen Peach, Ellerise Hortman from Kathleen. Also in Chairman Shaw Blackman's district.
I'm standing up here with you now.
Yeah, good. And Miss Junior Peach, Ella Armstrong from Perry, Georgia. Another one of Noah, Chairman Williams' nice ladies. And Little Miss Peach, Bella K. Murph from Perry. And Miss Tiny Peach, Bailey from Smith Hart from Bogart. So thank you, ladies, for being here. Thank you for representing a great commodity in this state. So,
Boy, those peach queens are beautiful. Thank y'all for being here. Representative Beckles is recognized for a morning order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I would like to recognize my Consulate General of Barbados, Mr. David Cutting. As they say, behind every man is a good woman. In this case, he has a group of women behind him this morning as we celebrate National Women's Month. We're going to take a moment to recognize and honor the incredible women who serve our county, our state, and our communities every day. At this time, please welcome the Women's Empowerment Group who are joining us today in the gallery. Thank you for all that you do. Ladies, please stand. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Oliver, Representative Todd Jones, and Representative Schofield. If y'all are present, bring us a morning order.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. I rise today to present an amazing initiative that's going on with true bipartisan support. Chairman Jones has taken the lead on the resolution HR 1017, and this is recognizing arts as an intervention for health care and health initiatives. You know, arts are more than just about entertainment. This body has figured out, in working in conjunction with Hypothesis Performance, the Carter Center, and to recognize that we have a major opportunity to shift from arts as entertainment to arts for mental health, recognizing this body takes mental health and makes it a priority. Today in the gallery, I have some wonderful partners. They are Alexis Jones, Marcel Foster, Juana Farfan, and Aaron Jones are the key partners in our arts as healing, the healing arts. Listen, we have a press conference at 12:30 in the South Wing. Please make sure you show up for mental health. We're going to move Georgia in the right direction when it comes to mental health, doing something that's never been done before. Mr. Speaker, I'm excited. We're excited. We yield the well.
Representative Kendrick and the Gwinnett delegation. If you're joining the lady, if you're a part of that Gwinnett delegation, come on down.
Come on down. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ladies recognized. Hold it just for a minute. You got a couple coming. Okay, the ladies recognized.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It is an exciting day under the Gold Dome. It is my third Tech Demo Day, and we welcome so many people to the Gold Dome, including 10 outstanding students from Shiloh High School. So the Shiloh Generals are up in the gallery. So I want to read out their name, but they're doing amazing work in the technology space. We have Dante Roberts, Tanya Hidalgo Valencia, Luis Fernando Huerta Garcia, Sichia Ray, Delani Davis, Marcus Thomas, Jairo A. Villalobos, Evelyn Torres, Chelsea Bartley, and Carlos Scott. And we even have our school board member, Dr. Adrian Simmons, who's on the floor. So if you could stand up and give them a round of applause for the great work they're doing in technology here in the state of Georgia. Welcome to your Gold Dome. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to have you in the House. Chairman Stevens. Chairman Stevens, you want to bring us let's see, would this be a fruity yeah, it's a fruit, isn't it? Yeah, a fruity morning order. Give the gentleman your attention, please. He's recognized. And anybody from the Chatham County Savannah delegation, Chatham County Savannah, join the gentleman at the well. Yeah, this lady needs to come. She's the former mayor of Savannah. I know we need her down here.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, every now and then you get a phenomenon created, and we had one in Savannah, Georgia, 10 years ago this year. It's amazing. The mayor was the mayor, I think, back then, and tried to help them get here. There was this crazy idea to create a baseball team that has taken the nation by storm. They're called the Savannah Bananas. Not only have they sold out every single game since 2018, they've also done something pretty spectacular in another realm. It has to do with foster care. Jolie Chabela is here. I believe she's come over from the Senate. These folks that also have, there she is, before I tell you who she is and what she represents, give her a hand if you will, Jolie. And keep standing. Jesse and Emily Cole that created the Savannah Bananas also are foster parents. They also created a nonprofit that she runs, ladies and gentlemen, that brings hope and opportunity to get folks into the foster care program. That, to me, is worth its weight in gold. Thank you, Jolie, for what you do and with the nonprofit, and keep up the good work. Thank you so much.
Good to have you. Savannah, bananas are pretty cool. A lot of people think that, don't they? And thanks for what you're doing in foster care. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you being here. Representative Adenia, there he is right there. You got some friends coming with you? And friends, please join the gentleman. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today is Kidpreneur Day at the Capitol. Let's give it up for Kidpreneur Day at the Capitol. Promoting financial literacy and, more importantly, promoting kids who are entrepreneurs. I'd like to recognize Kidpreneur Organization CEO, Ambassador Juliet Obi, who's based out of Nigeria, but she takes this event globally. And this is the 3rd annual Kidpreneur event in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's give her a round of applause. Welcome her to this house for promoting our kids. I witnessed last year, we had kids from the ages of as young as 7 owning their own businesses. So it's really exciting to see that you took the lead and you're doing this across the globe in the UK, Africa, and here in America. She's doing it in 3 cities, Atlanta, Maryland, and Texas, the state of Texas. So thank you for what you do. Let's empower our kids. Let's give her a big welcome. And we'll, by the way, we'll be downstairs in the room 230 from 12 to 2. So if you want to see some kids that are in business, please join us. Thank you. I yield well.
Representative Tyler Paul Smith is recognized. Chairman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Real quick, today's Harrison County Day at the Capitol. Mr. Speaker, since January the 26th, 1856, we've been the first line of defense against Alabama and all them other carpetbaggers trying to come down here. So welcome to your state capitol. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Harrison County Day at the Capitol. Good to have them. Good to have all of you. Representative Bell. And Chairman Irwin, you're on deck. Representative Bell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I'd like to recognize and commend New Leaders Council and the New Leaders Council Atlanta chapter, as well as the national president, Ms. Karen Pandy-Chair, who is joined with us in the back today. Just stand. New Leaders Council is a national nonpartisan leadership development organization founded in 2005 to cultivate the next generation of leaders and civic engagement. Now, this program is an intensive training in public policy, governance, coalition building, fundraising, communication, and ethical leadership, equipping emerging leaders with the skills necessary to serve their communities and strengthen their leadership. Products of this program are myself, the gentleman from the 98th, and the woman from the 26th. Miss Karen is here with us today. If you can please stand and wave. And the rest of the members of New Leaders Council, if you're in the gallery today, can you please stand and be recognized? Thank you. I yield it well, Mr. Speaker.
Welcome to the People's House. Representing Chairman Chris Irwin is recognized for a morning order.
Great, thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I can, Toccoa Stevens County, stand up for a minute. Members, we have many of my friends here today that came down in the weather. I like to say off Currahee Mountain to us here from Toccoa Stevens County Chamber and its director, Julie Payson. And if you looked at your gifts on there. I want you to know, made in Toccoa, Georgia. Hopefully you're going to like that. They were brought by this group from White Tulip Naturals right there, but very proud of these people and what they do, and great Georgians here. So welcome, Stevens County. Let's welcome you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Stevens County, welcome to the Capitol. Good to have y'all. Y'all had a great crowd. Thanks for being here. Safe travels to you when you head back, but we appreciate what you all do and what y'all's county means to our state. Pleased to have you. Thanks for being here. Representing Santos and friends. Hold on just a moment. Let's get all your friends here. One more. Ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members of the House. Today, I rise to recognize the leadership of the city of Locust Grove in Henry County, Georgia, as they visit the Georgia State Capitol for their first day at the Capitol. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Carlos Greer, City Council members Rudy Breedlove, Lester Clark, Sharon Duncan, Olivia McCornell, Rod Shiraus, and Willie Taylor, along with other community and civic leaders from Locust Grove who are with us today. Locust Grove gets its name from a grove of Locust Grove trees that once guided travelers along an early stagecoach route. Today, the city continues contributing to Georgia's economy through growing businesses, retail, and tourism. And recently, they launched a youth advisory council to help develop the next generation of leaders. Members are invited to join us today in room 216 at the Capitol from 12 to 2 to meet and welcome the city of Locust Grove. At this time, would the leadership from Locust Grove please rise and be recognized? Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Representative Scott. Representative Sandra Scott. And I see some friends joining you, don't I? I thought you did. Representative Davis is going to come down here and hold your hand to make sure you get it right. The lady and the ladies are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today was Women Veterans Day at the Capitol. Is any women veterans in the gallery? Would you please stand to be recognized? I don't see any. No, maybe in the center. Okay, well, thank you all, and thank you for your service.
Members, we're about ready to go on to the rules calendar, so All members will please come to the floor. We have several bills. We'll see if we can pass them out this morning, so members will all come to the floor. For what purpose does Chairman Gullett rise?
Make a motion.
State your motion.
I'd like to move SB 177, move back to rules.
Moving it, SB 177 be recommitted to rules. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption?
Senate Bill 177 by Senator Anavarde, the 31st, and others to be entitled an act to amend Chapter 5 of Title 21 of the Official Code of Georgia Antietam relating to government transparency and campaign finance.
On the gentleman's motion that SB 177 be withdrawn from the calendar and recommitted to the Rules Committee, is there objection? Hearing none, it is so ordered. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption of House Resolution 1049?
House Resolution 1049 by Representative Hughley of the 141st and others, a resolution designating the Wednesday of the last week in October of each year as Fentanyl and Opioid Awareness Day in Georgia. This resolution has been assigned the Committee of Special Rules. That committee recommends that this resolution be adopted by Rules Committee substitute.
As y'all know, everything we do here is important. So I'm going to ask the members to come to your seats. Conversations down the center aisle need to find another location. Leader Hughley is recognized to present House Resolution 1049. The lady is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, this is a simple resolution that designates the last week of October, Wednesday of the last week of October, as Fentanyl Awareness Day in Georgia. I want to thank the chair and the members of the Special Rules Committee. This is a project of a young lady who is working on her Eagle Award for Girl Scouts, and I hope that you all will agree with me and approve this resolution as she continues her work to advocate for fentanyl awareness. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Ladies, yielded well. Thank you for your presentation. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? Hearing none, the Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of House Resolution 1049, the yeas are 159, the nays are 0. This resolution has received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore adopted. Mr. Clerk will read the caption of House Resolution 145.
House Resolution 145 by Representative Irwin of the 32nd and others, a resolution urging the Department of Education and Department of Public Health to collaborate to prioritize the expansion of vision and hearing screening at various grade levels. This resolution having been assigned to the Committee on Education, that committee recommends that this resolution be adopted by Rules Committee substitute.
Chairman of our Education Committee, Chairman Irwin, is recognized to speak to House Resolution 145.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. This is again an effort we're doing towards literacy in this state to improve our literacy rate. As we state here in the resolution, a third of our kids have vision problems in school and during their time as a youth, and then 8% have hearing problems as a youth. And this is a urging resolution to set up an opportunity for us to do a better job of screening those kids, catching those kids, and helping them to be able to see the board, hear the teacher, rather than have a gap in time for that to happen. And we know that improves literacy. And with that, it's that simple, Mr. Speaker. I'll stand for any questions.
The gentleman has no questions.
We'd ask your favorable consideration, members, then on this effort to improve some literacy and catch these kids. Thank you.
Thank you to your commitment on this proposition. Appreciate you. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to withdrawing the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is withdrawn. Is there any objection to agreeing? Is there any objection to adopting the substitute offered by the Committee on Rules? Hearing none, the Rules Committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the adoption of the resolution? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this resolution now be adopted? All in favor of the adoption of the resolution will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the adoption of the resolution, House Resolution 145, the yeas are 162, the nays are 0. The resolution having received the requisite constitutional majority is therefore adopted. Members, we're going to take up a couple of bills that were carried over from earlier this week. I think actually it was Tuesday of this week when we were last here. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to SB 420? SB 420.
Senate Bill 420 by Senator Eccles, the 49th, and others, to be entitled an act to amend Code Section 2723 of the Official Code of Georgia Annotated relating to license, permit tag, and stamp fees so as to provide for a fee for reef and migratory fish endorsements. This bill has been referred to the Committee on Game, Fish, and Parks. That committee recommends that this bill do pass.
Gentleman knows about fishing. Gentleman from the coast. Chairman Peacher is recognized to present Senate Bill 420.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, bring you today Senate Bill 420, and this is almost precisely what we passed out here last year, and we sent back to the Senate as amended this year under my House Bill 443. I can only tell you, due to the machinations back and forth, we're now taking it up on a Senate bill. As you may recall, if you can recall 443, what we're trying to do here is to get better management and better data to manage our offshore fishery. Today, we are dealing with federal data that is aggregated to the entire Atlantic coast, and by their own admission, it lacks scientific rigor, and therefore, even in their own documents, say it should not be used for management purposes. However, we're using it for management purposes. So the goal here today is for Georgia to take control of its own fishery, including the offshore fishery in federal waters. You've probably, all of you had emails about the snapper issue. This is very relevant to that issue. So anyway, here's how we want to do that. We want Georgia data, specifically on the Georgia coast, from Georgia offshore fishermen, and we're going to fund that by having a recreational endorsement to your fishing license, only for offshore fishermen. This is requested by our offshore fishermen and by CCA, and that is a $10 resident reef and migratory fish endorsement, so $10. And the collection of those funds will allow us to pay for the surveys that we are going to be doing going forward. Florida's already done this. All the Gulf states have already done this. They're regulating their own federal waters. This is going to be a huge benefit to fishermen here in Georgia, and I hope you can support the measure. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If there's any questions, I'm glad to ask them.
Gentleman, yield for a question. He has a question right down front from a fisherman, Representative Al Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You're much too kind. Will the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir, I yield.
Is it not true for many generations we caught a lot of red snapper off the coast of Georgia?
Yes, sir, it is true.
Is it not further true under the current rules, unless you want to use a canoe, you can't afford to fish all day for one snapper?
One day a year we're allowed to fish for red snapper, and they're as abundant as like mice. They're everywhere in the water. And we're allowed one fishing day a year. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Final
That is
question.
correct,
Thank you for the bill, but is it not true? I'm looking forward to finally eating some Georgia red snapper again.
You and me both, Representative. Mr. Speaker, there's no further questions. I yield the well.
Don't, I have a question. Did you mean you fish? I didn't hear you. Did you fish with mice? Is that what you used?
Right now, you probably could, Speaker. There's
Okay.
so many, you probably could catch them
I don't know
with
if that
mice
was desirable
or
bait
crickets.
or not. No, the gentleman's yielded the will. He has no further
Thank you, Mr.
questions.
Speaker.
We do have a speaker. You think he did a pretty good job? Chairman Loach is another fisherman from the coast he weighs. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? All members voted. If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 420, the yeas are 163, the nays are 2. The bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Members, we have another bill we're carrying over from Tuesday. We'll hear today. That's Senate Bill 239. Mr. Clerk will read the caption to Senate Bill 239.
Senate Bill 239 by Senator Walker, the 20th, and others to be entitled an act to amend Article 1 of Chapter 18 to Title 43 of the Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to funeral directors and establishment, embalmers, and crematories. This bill having been referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries. That committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Powell is recognized to present the bill. Chairman Allen Powell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen. I bring to you this morning SB 239. Very simple bill on the face, came through regulated industries. The funeral business today, you have an embalmer and you have a funeral director. Both licensors are combined, but in the realities of life, you've got some people who would rather be a funeral director. They don't want any part of the embalming process, and then you have some that like being in the back room to do the embalming. This separates them into two separate licenses and adds one member to the board, which will be split between the embalmers and the funeral directors, and one that'll be both of them. Quite frankly, that's a simple bill, and it's the end of the day, so I'm going to sit down. Any questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
The gentleman has no questions.
I'll sit down. Thank you.
Outstanding job. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? The gentleman has yielded the well. Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee substitute? Hearing none, the committee substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All those in favor of passage of the bill will vote yes. Those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 239, the yeas are 148, the nays are 6. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. We're back on Chairman Parrish's calendar for today, right? Senate Bill 220. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to Senate Bill 220?
The Senate Bill 220 by Senator Brass of the 6th and others to be entitled an act to amend various provisions of the Official Code of Georgia annotated so as to rename low THC oil as medical cannabis. This bill having referred to the Committee on Regulated Industries, that committee recommends that this bill do pass by committee substitute.
Chairman Dr. Newton is recognized to present Senate Bill 220.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues. I do bring before you Senate Bill 220, the Putting Patients First Act. This obviously did start in the Senate, but let me tell you, the bill in front of you is significantly different in a lot of ways. This bill is the product of our 4 public meetings held by the Speaker's Blue Ribbon Committee on Medical Cannabis and Hemp Products. I was the chair, but over several months, our entire bipartisan committee heard testimony from more than 60 witnesses. That includes physicians, patients, law enforcement, the Medical Cannabis Commission, Department of Agriculture and Public Health, industry representatives, and the Georgia Medical Board. The committee substitute before you is an effort to reflect that considerable amount of work and study. On a personal note, as a physician, and partly the way many of us on the committee, our study committee, approach this, we do it kind of the same way. We look at the evidence. Very important, we listen to the patient, but then we want to act with compassion that's balanced by caution and informed by the science. So that's the way we take any new condition or new process in healthcare, both as a physician, but also our committee members as we serve together. Some core points. Georgia created a medical cannabis program back in 2015. We're not here to debate whether or not that was a great idea. It's been life-changing for a number of patients, but it was very careful. Parts of it have worked well. Our licensed facilities, which took a while to come online, but they are secure. The products are lab tested and pharmaceutical grade, completely unlike any gas station hemp products you may be seeing that are completely different and in the midst of a reorganization federally as well. But our products are lab tested and pharmaceutical grade, and there's no public safety crisis that has materialized from when we first started it back in 2015 and 2016. But once again, for the patients that this program is designed to serve, it has not always worked well enough. This bill is an effort to make sure that for the patients, this program works better. So what does the bill do? It does several things. It starts with, it renames the program. Low THC oil is a name that many Georgians outside of this room, maybe even some in this room, don't really know what that means. Medical cannabis is how other states balance that. So we have, in a way, corrected the name to make it clear that medical cannabis is how the patients and their physicians would identify the program. Even the DEA and the HHS don't realize we have medical cannabis in Georgia available. But that will take care of it. Another thing that does, though, it takes the emphasis off of one delivery method, which was a 5% oil, was the only way it could be given for a long time. Medical uses have changed in the time since then. There are other delivery methods, other ways of delivering this medical cannabis that are more aligned with the way we practice medicine in every other field. It's milligrams. We don't really talk about a percentage of a particular product. I know when I give certain cephalosporin antibiotics, you can give them, it's 1% in a 100 cc IV bag, it's a different percentage in a capsule, and it's a different percentage in a liquid for children. The key thing is we're given milligrams based on the condition and based on the weight sometime, but we don't do it based on what percent any one of those might be. Even though they would be vastly different percentages, we deal with milligrams. So milligrams measure the dose a patient receives. SB 220 does do some important things. The per package cap is right now 1,400 milligrams. SB 220 lowers that to 1,200. There's an effort to make sure there's enough available for someone. There's a wide range of dosing, let's put it that way. Some things are as little as 2.5 or 5 milligrams a day. Some people with end-stage conditions may need 40 milligrams 2 or 3 times a day in an end-stage or terminal or chemotherapy-associated nausea. So we wanted to make sure we allowed enough, but we didn't allow more than was enough. So we settled on lowering that to 1,200. The current maximum is 28 grams or 28,000 milligrams that's allowed under Georgia's current program in effect today. We lower that down to 12,000. We have not seen diversion. All these doses that are dispensed, all the medications that are dispensed now and will be, they're carefully electronically examined on the data, turned into the Medical Cannabis Commission. There's been no suggestion of any significant diversion going for recreational use rather than the medical use. So we changed the name of the program. We transition it to the number of milligrams. Well, one thing we do when you change it from oil to delivery systems based on milligrams is you allow for different ways to take it. One medicine I've mentioned is albuterol. It comes in a liquid form for children. It comes in a pill. It comes in an IV bag for asthma, and it comes in an inhaler. So that's one of the new things in this is an inhalable form. Some people call it vaping, but you got to contrast this with nicotine vaping, where somebody may be vaping for 20 or 30 minutes. This is one inhalation is 2.5 milligrams. That may be a dose, and that may be all someone needs at bedtime or in a particular time of PTSD or a possible seizure. They may need only one inhalation. They may need 2 or 3. 10 milligrams is kind of a normal dose for some people with a lot of the conditions that are allowed in Georgia. But it's not something that someone sits around recreationally and using. In particular, we do assure something that I assured one of my sheriffs a good while ago about, which was that if he or their deputies see smoke and vaping and it's marijuana in public, it is not coming from a legal use of a medical card. That's still preserved today. This is for home use, and it's for distinct medical use. It actually restricts public use or any kind of combustion or smoking. So that's specifically reordered in the bill as well. So there are additional delivery methods. The oral forms were taking 1 to 2 hours, sometimes 4 hours to have an effect. Some people's conditions, we heard from patients, need some relief more rapidly from that, and so the inhalation version takes care of that. We did make a few changes in the qualifying conditions. There's some things that were end-stage ALS, for example, end-stage cancer, multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and sickle cell. Those were ones where sometimes lower doses of medication in conjunction with a physician, your physician, can be helpful before it reaches end-stage or terminal. So that was one of the other changes. We did add a couple of conditions. There are some new evidence especially under a doctor's direction, to where severe insomnia, that's sleep disturbance more than 5 out of 7 nights, we added that, or severe arthritis. There's some forms of rheumatoid arthritis that we think could be benefited from this. And the Senate, I think, did add lupus. A couple of other things just to try to make it easier for patients is the electronic registration card. We have some language in a previous bill in 2024, but this will make sure that replaces the current delayed process we have right now for mailing certified mail registration cards. We have a few changes in the dispensary location reform. We wanted to make sure that if you're 1,000 feet from a school or church and there's some rural areas, there's not a lot of place left. And if that applied to a pharmacy, once again, the feds are looking at lowering this from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3, and I think we'll start to get research at that point to find out what conditions is this best for, what are the risk factors on who should avoid it. So I think we're going to get a lot more information. I look forward to it being dispensed by pharmacies in keeping with the medical emphasis on our program. And I will tell you, one of the biggest things we've looked at, there apparently was a loophole that required Georgia licensed doctors to certify patients. You're supposed to right now be treating those patients. You're supposed to do annual reports on the dose you're giving them and how it's going. This bill, for the first time, requires those physicians to primarily practice in Georgia. There's a report, DPH has confirmed it to me, that there's a physician with a Georgia license in New York, a telemedicine license, and remember, some doctors have 30 or 40 telemedicine licenses across the state. One physician has put 4,000 individuals on this program right now. So this bill will tighten up what we think is a loophole. It was not the intent of the program for someone to be running a mill that is just approving condition verifications under this. And this bill, for the first time, will remove that loophole. We think it's the same thing we did with pain clinics and things like that. We require them to be in-state physicians. And so I think this is important that we're removing a loophole that's out there. What does the bill not do? It doesn't allow smoking, like I said. So if you see vaping or smoking in public, it's not legal under our medical cannabis program. And hopefully, if we get rid of some of the foreign THC vapes that are in our gas stations and convenience stores, maybe we'll get rid of a lot of it. No one under 21 can use the inhalation method. No food or candy products, no sodas, no other new product. So this committee, we spent months, like I say, listening to physicians, patients, and veterans and law enforcement and others. I think we can all look at this the way I kind of started out. We look at the evidence, we listen to the patient, which is who we created this program for, and then it's up to us to act with both balanced with compassion, to act with compassion, have a certain amount of caution, but at the same point be informed by science. And I think that's what this bill takes our program forward in. I think it's a limited bill. No one is ever going to think a bill is perfect once again, but I think this is an important to make sure at the end of the day our program is for patients, and we love the fact that this is in close consultation with a physician, and if this bill passes, it'll be even closer consultation with a physician based in Georgia who will compassionately deliver this medication. So with that, Speaker, I'm glad to answer any questions.
The gentleman has a couple of questions. To your left, Representative Derek Jackson is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to call your attention to line number 407. As I put on my glasses here. It says on line 0407 that in any manner, in any public place, by any individual.
Right.
So they will not be able to, if they're having an episode at church or at a park, any public place, they won't be able to get the necessary medicinal situation taken care of because they're in a public place, according to line 407?
Yeah. No, you're correct. It does restrict the use of cannabis, medical cannabis products in public. Obviously the biggest change in that paragraph is vaping. We tried to balance the needs of patients and the needs of the public in that, and the needs of law enforcement as well. So we wanted to make sure that we had a carefully crafted one, and so we did preclude public consumption of cannabis, of medical cannabis. And so that's our plan.
Do you further yield?
Yes.
So what would we suggest to our constituents for those who are in need of this medicinal cannabis and they're at church? What would you recommend for us to advise our constituency?
I did mention, I think, that this bill isn't perfect. It's an effort to give new options while respecting the rights of others as well, which is why we have that language in there that restricts where you can utilize these products and how. We've had years now of secondhand smoke discussions. We don't want secondhand THC exposure and having to figure that out among children and others. So that's the current. You have to get to a private place to take your medicine. Thank you for the question.
Gentleman, you Representative Cameron.
Yes, sir.
To your right, about halfway back.
Gentleman, yield.
Certainly.
You were talking about vaping. The amount that it's going to be vaped, that, in your medical opinion, that's safe?
Thank you for the question. Yes, this is about 2.5 milligrams. 10 milligrams or 20 milligrams is a normal medical dose for many of the conditions that are allowed in Georgia. The inhalation therapy or vaping is about a 2.5 milligram on an inhalation. So somebody might be instructed to use it three inhalations, maybe 4. But yes, it's a very precise delivery method to get a medication to someone and then have some improvement in results within minutes to 15 to 20 minutes.
Chairlady Mathiak is recognized for a question.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Does the gentleman yield?
I do.
Is it not true that this can be a good way for us to deal with nerve pain in our clinics?
No, you are absolutely right. Peripheral neuropathy is an intractable condition that modern medicine is trying to get some answers for, but there's a number of patients out there, and it's not 100% of patients, but there's a number with the right situations to where this medication has made a significant difference.
Yes, sir, and I so appreciate it. Can I have one more question?
Certainly.
As a response to Representative Jackson, is it not true that when you inhale, there is a longer lasting, or is there a lasting time element so that somebody that would go to church, they could vape before they went to church, and it should be long lasting for them to be able to function in public?
Thank you. That is an excellent point. It's true. In the same way, if someone has asthma, they can use 1 or 2 puffs on their inhaler for an inhaled, and then that's good for 4 to 6 hours. It's the same point, and I appreciate you pointing that out.
Thank you. Good bill. Thank you so much.
Mr. Speaker, with that, I'm going to yield the well, and I hope we will understand what everyone we talk to, law enforcement, physicians, public health, and others, but more importantly, patients who've been helped by this. I hope we can, in a very, balanced with caution and informed by science, I hope we can continue a compassionate road to make a difference, and I hope you'll help support this tightening in many areas on our system, but to allow it to work for patients. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you for the presentation. Members, we do have speakers on this bill. We have 5 of you who would like to speak in favor of the bill. I'm going to leave it up to you all how y'all divide that time up, but we're going to have 15 minutes total for those speaking in favor of the bill. And we'll start off with Leader Efstration.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in favor of SB 220. I know there's multiple speakers lined up, so I'll be brief. Just wanted to share with you how my thoughts on this issue have tracked during my service here in the House. As a former felony prosecutor, I really had a mindset as it related to medical cannabis when I was initially elected that I think was informed by meeting the patients, particularly young children who needed this medical cannabis, hearing from their parents, often police officers, physicians, respected leaders in our communities who spoke out and were saying the law needs to be changed because we can't get our children the medicine that they need. Now, if you fast forward over the ensuing years, I served on several of the conference committees dealing with this issue, and I saw the complexities involved with the formation of this new commission, the interplay between medical diagnoses, federal law, which informs much of this, and also implementation of a new state system for this medicine. These are complex issues. And so I just gained a much greater appreciation for the difficulty around this issue. And I want to commend the chairman who presented the bill a moment ago, because with his medical expertise, bringing that knowledge to this issue to bring forward a measure for us here today is something that I find tremendously helpful. I think that if it's science-based, as the sponsor said, if it's done so understanding and with a mindset toward balancing the needs of patients with more broad public policy objectives, then we can form the best possible legislation. No legislation is ever perfect, but the effort that's been put forward on this measure is commendable. And it's because of this that I plan to vote yes on Senate Bill 220. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield.
The gentleman has yielded well. Chairman Powell is recognized to speak to the bill. The gentleman is recognized. Representative Panitch, you'll be next.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and ladies and gentlemen of the House. First, I want to thank the good doctor from Augusta. You know, he was the chair of the Medical Cannabis Study Committee this summer, and we went around, had meetings around the state. And, you know, it's probably a good thing because, as you know, how conservative these doctors are about certain products. But he was very conservative in how he dealt with this. But I want to give a brief history. A few years ago, when we passed the Medical Cannabis Act, the top of this gallery was full of children and people who were hurting. Every member of this House stood up with pride that they'd finally done something. This issue today in front of you, this isn't about legalizing recreational marijuana, even though the federal government has now moved it from a Schedule I to a Schedule III at the bottom of the hill. This is about helping people. And I hear questions when people talk about adding these illnesses onto this list. Let me tell you something. That's just the product and the nature of how this goes. If you have someone who has cancer, that has ALS, folks, get a life about this stuff. When people are hurting, they need relief. They need relief. Probably the number one reason for alcoholism is people need some kind of relief from either the pain or the realities of life that they face. But this, ladies and gentlemen, is a good bill. He changed the diagnosis or the formulary to 1.20 milligrams. Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, and I really don't care what it is. Because the most illegal substance is sold in this country today and has been for 70 years, has been street weed. We tried to put guardrails on here for the health and the security of people who needed help. And we diagnosed, we set up a process. We set up all those things through the Cannabis Commission on the folks that are growing it, and they're keeping clocks on all the stuff. It's not slipping out the back door, but they're growing quality products. None of this stuff is adulterated with fentanyl that street weed is and that kind of stuff. So I want you to reach out to yourselves if you have a question. There's nothing perfect whenever in our legislative abilities, we've got some people who think that everything needs to be banned because it's been banned for 70 years. This is a natural product. And I have said this from this well before, and I continue to tell you that something that God lets grow naturally is better than anything made in a pharmaceutical laboratory. And if you don't believe it, go back and talk to Chairman Hatchett about budgets of the past of all the opioid settlement monies. People go to a doctor. Doctors can't prescribe because they're afraid for their license. So that's the reason this is devised as such, to put the disease down there. And once a doctor says you have this disease, then you get a license and you go and get whatever you need. Veterans, children, people that suffer the malady of all these diseases, they're looking for relief. And I would encourage you to vote unanimously for this bill, because this bill helps those patients, your constituents, the veterans that have been suffering since Vietnam, And I'm sure Brother Williams is going to speak about that. But this is a natural substance. This isn't legalizing recreational anything. The language, I had someone ask me about the vape part of this. This ain't like going to a filling station and getting a vape. I looked at this contraption that they put this stuff in and they vape it. The question about going into a church, you know, hey, if you're in that kind of pain, you ain't going to be in church anyway. You're going to be praying at home to God help you with your illnesses. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what this does. It's time to move forward and take the blinders off to say that this is a medical prescription that helps people. And that's what it does. Mr. Speaker, I appreciate the time that you've let me to get up here before Al Williams comes up here and filibusters. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I think y'all doing pretty well together. Y'all went to the same school on that part, so I won't go any further on that. Representative Panich is recognized to speak to the bill.
Don't you worry. Colleagues, before I ever ran for office, I was an attorney who came down here to advocate for issues that my clients or me personally were inspired by. I met parents who brought their sick children down here who are worried about being prosecuted for giving their kids what was legal in other states in Georgia. I was so moved that I offered to represent them for free, pro bono, in the event that they were ever arrested for providing their children medical marijuana. Because there is nothing worse as a parent than looking at a helpless child or looking at a child, your child, and knowing that there's a cure for them or at least an aid for them and not being able to give it, even though your neighbors in another state could give it. So I made that offer because the system was broken. The families were desperate and the law was confusing. And the kids were really the ones suffering at the end of the day. This bill does exactly what it says. It puts patients first. It renames low THC oil as medical cannabis, not to change the substance, but to change the stigma, to call it what it is, which is medicine. Georgia has always moved cautiously on this issue, and for good reason, but caution should not mean cruelty. When a child is seizing, when a cancer patient can't keep food down, when a veteran with PTSD cannot sleep, they don't need us to be cautious. They need us to act with compassion and science. I made that pro bono promise because the law wasn't doing enough. Today, we have the opportunity to make that promise unnecessary. I urge this body to unanimously pass SB 220. Thank you.
Ladies yield to the well. Chair Lady Camp is recognized to speak, and then Representative Williams.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Members, Senate Bill 220 is about making sure that Georgia's medical cannabis program works for the patients it was intended to help. For many Georgians dealing with chronic illnesses, severe epilepsy, cancer, PTSD, lupus, ulcerative colitis, and other serious medical conditions, these restrictions mean the program does not always meet the real medical needs their physicians are trying to address. Senate Bill 220 modernizes our statutes. It updates outdated terminology. It expands certain qualifying conditions and provides physicians and patients with additional flexibility in determining the most appropriate medical treatment. And most importantly, members, this bill does not legalize recreational marijuana. Georgia will continue to maintain a tightly regulated medical program with strict oversight. This legislation simply ensures the program we created can actually function as intended for patients under the care of their physicians. Members, I want to speak candidly for a moment. Earlier this week, I received an email threatening me that if I voted yes on this bill, I would be dinged on a legislative scorecard. And as I read that email, frankly, it made me quite mad. And a performance appraisal from a lobbying organization that did not elect me Attempting to tell me how to legislate is not how I operate. My constituents sent me here to critically think, to evaluate the facts, and make the best decisions possible for the people I represent. And when I think about this issue, I cannot help but think about people. I have an extended family member, I've spoken about this person many times, who is a law-abiding senior citizen now, a conservative Christian and a wonderful person who for many years crossed state lines to obtain doctor-prescribed medical cannabis for her adopted son who suffers from severe epilepsy. I also think about a constituent whose son suffered from cerebral palsy, severe seizure disorder, and severe pain, from multiple muscle diseases. She ultimately left our state because she could not obtain physician-prescribed medical cannabis for her son to take once he lost the ability to swallow. Dylan passed away not long after they relocated to Colorado. And I think about an Army veteran who lives in my district who every day struggles with chronic debilitating pain and PTSD. He has tried repeatedly to get off opioids because he can't work, and it's affected his family relationships because he can't think clearly when he is taking these opioids, who are highly addictive medications. Yet under our current law, he has no option but to stay on them. Members, it's not a good outcome for him or his sweet family. Medical cannabis in Georgia is highly regulated in facilities where every plant is tracked, monitored, and tested. The exact composition of each product is known, measured, and controlled. These are state-of-the-art facilities operating under strict state and federal guidelines to produce a consistent medical-grade product where an exact dosage prescribed by a Georgia licensed physician is closely regulated. Members, these are not political talking points. These are real families doing everything they can to care for their children, their spouses, and themselves. Senate Bill 220 is about compassion, it is about responsible regulation, and it is about making sure that the state of Georgia, when we authorize medical treatments, that the treatment can actually be accessible to patients who need it desperately. And for those reasons, I respectfully ask for your favorable consideration on SB 220. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you. The ladies yielded the will. Representative Williams, you have 2 minutes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It took me 2 minutes to get up here, but I'll certainly make it as brief as I can. You've heard a lot of different testimony, and let me follow most of you and thank Chairman Newton. Very fair, very well-rounded group of hearings. The one thing he left off is to those that testified, first time in 24 years, we had a ventriloquist testify twice, and that was an interesting testimony. Veterans, particularly, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, it was called shell shock. And then we started calling it PTSD. It's serious, it's real. This helps veterans with that and several other conditions. The second one being sickle cell is on that list. In 2011, when Governor Deal was elected governor, Representative Gloria Frazier and myself was selected by our leader, Representative Stacey Abrams, to approach the governor about adding sickle cell to the list. And it was added then, and the state has been very generous since that time. This was a scientific study. It's been covered. As far as vaping goes, I'll be very honest with you. All of you know I enjoy a good cigar. I just hadn't lit one since 1978, so I can't deal with the smoke. And I feel the same way about vaping. And it's not just my goodness. A little lady by the name of Olivia told me if I wanted to stay married to her, I had to forget the cigars and the cigarettes. And I'm tobacco-free. But this is a great bill. I urge you to support this bill that is based on scientific evidence, not backroom self-medication. With that, Mr. Speaker, and the color of this light, I yield the well.
I'd been thinking you were colorblind, but now I know you aren't. You just ignore the light. That's what you do. The gentleman has yielded the well. That concludes those that have spoken in favor of SB 220 and the presenter of SB 220. Now we'll move it to a vote. Is there any objection to the previous question being ordered? Hearing none, the previous question is ordered. Is there any objection to adopting the committee's substitute? Hearing none, the committee's substitute is adopted. Is there any objection to agreeing to the report of the committee, which was favorable to the passage of the bill? Hearing none, the report of the committee is agreed to. Shall this bill now pass? All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote yes. All those opposed will vote no. And Mr. Clerk will unlock the machine. Have all members voted? For what purpose does Representative Schofield rise?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to say thank you to all.
Is this a parliamentary inquiry?
Oh, parliamentary inquiry.
State your inquiry.
Is it not true that voting for this bill, and we talk a lot about the children that are hurting, but there are people who have non-apparent diseases that you can't see, that every day have to struggle to deal with a life of pain. There's nothing they ask for, but every day, everybody, as you get older, will all be involved with the same person. First name Arthur, last name Ritus. This bill will help many Georgians who live with chronic disease and chronic pain every day. They take accountability, but you now have given them a lifeline. So thank you for this bill and bringing this bill.
I'm sure the lady knows and believes of what she speaks. Have all members now voted? All members voted? If so, Mr. Clerk will lock the machine. On the passage of Senate Bill 220, the yeas are 138, the nays are 21. This bill, having received the requisite constitutional majority, is therefore passed. Congratulations. We have a whole slew of afternoon orders. But I want while everyone's seated and paying attention, we want your attention. We're going to have some condolences that we will be hearing in these afternoon orders. So I'm going to call them first. I'm going to ask members to please stand for these 4 orders that will be offering condolences. We'll start with Chairlady Mathiak, and Representative New and the Douglas County delegation will be on deck. Chairlady Mathiak, please give the lady in the well your attention, please. These first 4 all will be condolences. And she has Representative Jones and some other folks. The lady's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Before I begin, I'd like to give you a little history here. Today, Dr. Anissa and I are going to honor an icon in the world of chiropractic. There are 70,000 chiropractors in the United States, 11,000 students, 19 nationally accredited doctoral programs, and 35 million Americans are treated each year by a chiropractor. This gentleman that we are going to honor today passed away last month unexpectedly. He was an icon in both Dr. Anissa and my life. Honoring the life and memory of Dr. Guy Riekman for other purposes. Whereas the state of Georgia mourns the loss of one of its most distinguished citizens with the passing of Dr. Guy Riekman. Whereas a passionate chiropractor, visionary leader, and beloved past chancellor and president of Life University, Dr. Riekman devoted more than 5 decades to advancing the chiropractic profession that impacted the lives of countless patients, students, and colleagues. Whereas he served as president of Life University from 2004 through 2017, where he revitalized the institution and solidified its standing as a premier institution in chiropractic and health sciences education. Whereas he gave inspiration to many through his high ideals, morals, and deep concern for his fellow citizens, the devotion, patience, and understanding he demonstrated to his family and friends were admired by others. Whereas Dr. Riekman was the proud father of two wonderful children, Alexis and Vanessa, and the grandfather of three remarkable grandsons, Tyler, Cale, and Alec. Whereas he was a person of magnificent strengths and unimpeachable reputation for integrity, intelligence, fairness, kindness, and by the example he made of his life, he made this world a better place to live in. He was an author of The Extraordinary Life, inspired readers to follow in his footsteps, recognizing and achieving extraordinary in them. He was a compassionate and generous man. Dr. Riekman will long be remembered for his love of family, friendship, and community, and he will be missed by all who had the great fortune of knowing him. And therefore, be it resolved by this House of Representatives and the members of this body join in honoring the life and memory of Dr. Guy Riekman and express their deepest and most sincere regret in his passing. Be it further resolved that the Clerk of the House of Representatives is authorized and directed to make a copy of this resolution available for the family, and that will take place on Sunday at Life University. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for honoring Dr. Anissa and I, and Dr. Riekman, and he will be missed. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield the well.
Thank you, members. Representative New, the Douglas County delegations recognized for an afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. It's with heavy hearts and profound sadness that we gather to honor the life of Jada West, a 12-year-old student at Mason Creek Middle School. Jada left us this past Sunday, March 8th, leaving a void in our school hallways and in our community that words fully cannot express. To her family, we offer our deepest condolences, our prayers, and an unwavering support. Jada was more than just a student. She was a friend, a classmate, and a bright light to all of her peers. While we struggle to make sense of a life cut so short, her spirit remains alive in the hearts of her family, friends, and all that knew her. As we mourn the loss of a young girl who had so much life ahead of her, let us honor her memory by showing extra kindness and compassion to those around us. I'd like to ask for a moment of silence to honor Jada's life. Thank you.
Thank you, members. Chairman Stevens, Ron Stevens, and Representative Edna Jackson, you will be next. You have some folks from the Chatham delegation. Mr. Chairman, are going to join you. Would that be correct? Let's give them a second to get down. This is Representative Stevens, Chairman Stevens, and then you, Representative Jackson. You'll be the next. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen of the House, we honor a gentleman you skip. A great picture of him up there. It's Gary Joseph Patrick. He was 56 years old, who died unexpectedly this week, way too young, in Reedsville. He was born September 15th of 1969 in Sydney, Australia. Gary was raised in Sydney, where he was educated at the Christian Brothers. He was a talented athlete in rugby throughout his school years. At age 18, he joined the Royal Australian Navy, where he received the degree in engineering and was honorably discharged from the Navy 6 years later. Ladies and gentlemen, his dream was to come from Australia to the coast of Georgia. And he did that with his lovely wife. They soon returned with his lovely wife, Laura, and they settled in Savannah. If you came to Savannah to take a tour, you may have joined him on the old trolley tours in Savannah. And he was always smiling, always had that amazing, contagious smile, just like that. Couldn't get over the way he would say y'all with an Australian accent. He was an amazing man, left us too early, and ladies and gentlemen, if you'd honor us with just a moment of silence. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative Edna Jackson is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I ask that you join me in commemorating one of the supreme, very top leaders during our civil rights movement in the city of Savannah. His name is Daniel Wright. I was looking for the picture of Daniel Wright. As we wait for the
We don't have that
I know.
photo.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. He passed away here in Atlanta, Georgia, on last week. Mr. Wright was the first African American counselor that worked in a predominantly white high school in the city of Savannah back in 1970s. All of you may have seen the lady that was with me on the other day, Mercedes Wright. She was his first wife. He had three sons, and a daughter who is still living. He not only did that, he organized the teachers' organization in the city of Savannah. He was the first person to serve as the president. He was known because of the talents that he had in the city during the civil rights movement. I ask that you pray for him. He moved to Atlanta. He moved to Conyers, Georgia, several places. But let us not forget those that live and change the world. I ask that you please bow your head in commemoration of Daniel Wright. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, members, and thanks for those remembrances. Now we're going to move on to some afternoon orders. I'm going to ask you to hold those to a minute if it's humanly possible. Representative Wade, then Representative Donahue, you're next, and then Representative Beckles. Representative Wade and some friends are going to honor someone, and I think he's going to ask you for some prayers here, so please pay attention.
Colleagues, I've got a really good friend back home fighting for his life right now. His name is Captain Shane Henson with the Dawson County Sheriff's Department. Shane and his son and 4 others were traveling from a hunting trip. They were in Glasscock County and they had a very terrible accident. I want to thank the folks at Augusta Medical for their timely and almost impeccable care. They have treated Shane and his family like royalty. Shane is a good friend. I've known him my entire life. He's already had 2 surgeries. They had to stop the second surgery due to just complications, so he'll have another surgery in a day or 2. Just please, folks, I want to be able to tell the family that you all lifted him up in prayers. All of the other folks in the accident have been released. His son was released 2 days ago. It's just a really tough time for them, and he's going to have a long road, but we know God is good. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
He certainly will be remembered by these members. Representative Donahue, gentleman's recognized. Please give him your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 1978, a blonde-haired, blue-eyed lady in college was dancing with a gentleman I really didn't think too much of. I walked up and asked her to dance. She left him in his tracks. From that day forward, 1981, we were married. We had two beautiful daughters that we have, is Lindsay and Megan, and a son, Josh. If we had had Josh first, we would have had no more children. We have 8 grandchildren, 4 boys, 4 girls, Harley, Maverick, Levi, Selah, Rebecca, Haven, Kai, and our little 2.5-year-old Jedediah. This Saturday, March the 14th, if she behaves, will be our 45th anniversary. I need some suggestions where to take her, KFC, Long John Silver's, or Captain D's. So please text me with the answer. Thank you.
Boy, that woman's put up with a lot. That's all I can tell you. Congratulations on the anniversary. Representative Beckles. Ladies recognized. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you hold steady if the lady will suspend for a moment. We're going to have a very special afternoon order, and I'll ask you to stay put just for a moment or two. Very special afternoon order will be next. Representative Beckles.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sports Medicine Day is Monday, but I realized something. Sports medicine might not be for athletes alone. It could be for us legislators. Between running around the floor for votes, stretching debate time, and pulling muscles on crossover day, we may need a little recovery. So on Monday, we're going to have some massages in 216. We will have Super Bowl champion Andrew Adams on site as well to hang out with us. Mr. Speaker, I'm skipping out the well.
Skip away. Awesome. Thank you, Representative Beckles. I want to recognize Representative Holcomb, Chairman Hatchett, and friends of my favorite speaker, Speaker David Ralston.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Gentlemen, we'll hold just for a moment, suspend, just let's get another friend or two down here. We're going to remember Speaker Ralston in the most appropriate manner. Representative Holcomb, you will not be limited to 1 minute, but you and Chairman Hatchett speak to this issue and let us know about our dear friend, Speaker David Ralston. Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You are fond of saying that a story seldom told is soon forgotten, and I am so honored to be able to share a story about our late speaker, David Ralston, whose birthday is this upcoming Saturday, March 14th. 10 years ago, I was a young member, and I had just passed my first bill out of the House of Representatives, and it was an important piece of legislation that provided for the testing of the backlog of untested sexual assault kit evidence. It passed unanimously without issue in this chamber, and then when it went to the Senate, and some of you all may face this over the next couple of weeks, it ran into a political wall. Up until that time, the Speaker and I had a very limited relationship. It was effectively pleasantries, but he took an interest in the bill. He asked me what was happening across the way, and we had a very direct conversation, and ultimately he decided to help. He helped me amend a piece of legislation here. He helped me get it through committee. He placed the bill on the rules calendar to be the very first bill on sine die, and then ultimately the bill passed at midnight on sine die. I may have been the mouthpiece, but he was the one who got it across the finish line. And that was the start of one of the most important friendships in my life. And what I will share with you quickly is in 2018, they finished testing the backlog of untested sexual assault kits, and we had a press conference right over there in the anteroom. And he spoke first, and I didn't know what he was going to say, and I was just going to compliment whatever he said. And this is such a testament to who he was and his character. He gave an overview of what happened, and then he introduced me, and he let me make the announcement that all of the kits had been tested. So that friendship across parties, it was one of the few in my life that gave me hope. And so my prayer for all of you is that each of you have a friendship across the aisle, an unexpected friendship that is as special to you as my relationship with David Ralston was to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Holcomb, and I can assure you he thought a lot of you as well, sir. Chairman Hatchett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You know, 16 years ago, when I came into this chamber, I was a member of David Ralston's first real freshman class. And I know that he sat there and said, "What in the world is he doing here? How did he get here?" Well, he took me under his arm and wing and everything and helped me a lot. You know, he loved this chamber. He loved this house. He loved the people of Georgia. And he loved the people from the mountains. He never wanted to say he was anything but an old country lawyer. But we all know he was larger than life. His voice, I can hear it now, kicking us off. The time having arrived. But every year, I don't know how they did it, but Chairman England, the late Chairman Powell, and late Chairman Meadows somehow would get in this well and remind us that March the 14th was his birthday, and he would get upset every time. But I think it's more than appropriate for us today to go ahead and wish him happy birthday on Saturday. And doing that, let's sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Speaker Ralston. Happy birthday to you. Have a great weekend.
Mary Margaret, you want to say something? Okay. Thank you, members. Hey, sometimes just makes you be proud to be a member of this house, doesn't it? Thank you all. And you're right, Scott. Stories seldom told is soon forgotten. We're going to tell this one a long time. Thank you, sir. Representative Reese. I hope you hadn't forgotten what you need to do, but I guess you have. Oh, I thought you'd forgotten, Representative Reese. I said, I hope you hadn't forgotten your obligation here, so go to it, man. I bet you'll be
No, sir.
pleased to go home.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 10 years ago on this day, I was fortunate to marry my best friend, the lady who has changed my life tremendously, who has been a great partner through this ride for the last 10 years, who has dealt with a lot of my foolishness. And it's quite a bit, Mr. Speaker. But as she's currently in Singapore and was in Taiwan prior to that, she's finishing up her physician's master's in business administration at Auburn University. And this is their international trip. So I'll send her this link later on where I wished her happy anniversary and reminding everybody that she is the glaze on my Krispy Kreme donut, the wind beneath my wings, the sweetness in my Southern tea, Angie. And when she get back, I'm gonna tell her, put on your red dress and slip on those high heels and put on that sweet perfume that sure smell good on you. Happy anniversary, baby. Love you.
I didn't know you had that in you, brother. Representative Stinson, give the lady your attention, please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Don't worry, colleagues. I'm not going to sing today, but just hold on. But I come on a serious note, and I asked Representative Stinson, it's Teddy Reese, if he would stand with me. Macon County, Georgia is in House District 150, and the city of Marshallville, which is a very small rural community population of about 1,000. Last evening, a very unfortunate strong storm came through the city of Marshallville, and several families were displaced due to that storm. And so we're going to be connecting with the local governments there in Marshallville to see what we can do to help them during this really rough time. And anything that the state can do, or any suggestions you can offer to me to help the city of Marshallville, please share those recommendations. And I ask you for your prayers and support for all of Marshallville, Georgia. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, colleagues.
Representative Lupton, recognized for afternoon order.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just want to ask you all to keep your thoughts and prayers with several students and a bus driver who were in an accident in my district this morning. 2 people were taken by ambulance to the hospital. There were a few other students that were taken to the hospital by their parents. Nothing seems to be major, but I'd just like you to keep them in your thoughts and prayers. Good thoughts and prayers for them. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. We hope and pray they'll be fine. Thanks for letting us know. Representative Ali is recognized for afternoon order. Representative Bell, you're on deck.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
And friends.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today, I rise to speak on the affordability problem our state currently faces. In recent days, we've seen the numbers on the signs at gas stations creeping upward, and we know exactly what that means for the single mother or the small business owner trying to keep their delivery van on the road. Colleagues, we cannot boast that we have the cheapest gas prices in our nation if our citizens still cannot afford them. A low price relative to other states means absolutely nothing to the Georgian who is choosing between a full tank of gas and a full bag of groceries. That is why today I am encouraging the state government to exercise our authority to temporarily suspend the gas tax. This is a practical and simple step to ease the burden on working class families. It is a way to ensure that when a single mother, a hardworking father, or a college student trying to minimize loans goes to the gas pump tomorrow, they are not paying a premium for a world of uncertainty they did not create. Let's provide real relief now. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield the will.
Thank you. The gentleman yielded the will. He waves Representative Glaze. This will be our last afternoon order, members.
As I stand in for Representative Mary Margaret Oliver, if you would take a look at the screen, this is 10-year-old Aiden, who was born in 2016. He's outgoing, extremely funny, and listens to country music. He's in foster care, and he's looking for a family. And if we can help him make an adoption, please do so. And thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. I yield the well.
Thank you. Let's help him out, right? Appreciate your afternoon. That completes our afternoon orders. Mr. Clerk, you ready? Members, let me, before the clerk begins with privilege resolutions, if you have a page, hang around and we'll get some page photos and thank them for their service today. So there are the pages up on the board. Mr. Clerk, will you read the caption to a group of privileged resolutions?
Honoring the life and memory of Jason Hughes. Honoring the life and memory of Brother LeBray Brandon Gilbert. Recognizing and commending Aubrey T. Villainous, Jr. for 50 years of distinguished public service at the Georgia State Capitol. Recognizing and commending Paula Whittle. Commending the Atlanta World Cup Host Committee. Commending the Yeshiva University Maccabees. Recognizing and commending Pastor Wilbur T. Purvis on the occasion of his 33rd pastoral anniversary, commending the Building Owners and Managers Association of Georgia Day, and recognizing February 3rd, 2026 as BOMA Georgia Day at the state capitol, recognizing and commending Dr. Terry L. Hudson. Congratulating Brianna Anneboam upon being named the 2025-2026 Youth of the Year for Boys and Girls Clubs of the Chattahoochee Valley. Congratulating Columbus Police Sergeant Katina Williams upon being named WRBL News 3 2026 Remarkable Woman. Recognizing and commending Valerie Barnett. Congratulating the First Preparatory Christian Academy boys basketball team for winning the 2026 GIAA Class A Boys State Basketball Championship. Recognizing and commending Mrs. Nancy Nan McClellan Flowers. Recognizing and commending Carner Farnsworth. Recognizing and commending Iglesia Pentecostal Divinia, Trinidad, and honoring Pastor Ronald Monroy and Marie Mercedes Monroy on the occasion of their 16th pastoral anniversary. Recognizing and commending the Emmeline Farnsworth. Recognizing and commending Soa Sabra Mamahin. Recognizing and commending the United States pageant system. Congratulating and commending Dr. Beverly Griffin Patton for receiving the 2026 Yellow Rose Nikki T. Randall Servant Leadership Award. Recognizing March 25th, 2026 as Executive Function Day at the State Capitol, celebrating the 205th anniversary of the city of Lawrenceville. Recognizing and commending the Honorable Dewey McLean. Recognizing March 25th, 2026 as the United Nations International Day of Remembrance of the victims of the transatlantic slave trade. And for other purposes, that completes the reading of the privilege resolutions.
Is there any objection to adopting the privilege resolutions? Hearing none, the resolutions are adopted. We'll move on to announcements now. Representative Kendrick, Chairman Scoggins, you're on deck. Representative Kendrick. Okay, we'll move on to Chairman Scoggins and Chairman Tarvin right after him, not together.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Special rules will meet at 5:15 at 1 o'clock. But if you want to come early, we'll get started and get home early. So thank you.
Which room? 5:15. Chairman Tarvin.
Budget and Physical Oversight will meet in room 406, CLOB 406 at 2 p.m. We've got a bill to vote out. Thank you.
Keep them working. Representative Berry, the gentleman is recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Atlanta delegation meeting today has been canceled. Please pray for our chair. She has the flu. So Atlanta delegation meeting is canceled. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative McLean.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Working Family Cox will meet in room 307, and we do have lunch, and today's presentation will be about voting and election issues. So 307, so if you get a chance before you go home, stop in and get you some lunch. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Representative McQueen, ladies recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This announcement is for Fulton County delegation members. We are having our meeting today, CAP 230 at 3 p.m. See you there. Thank you.
That completes our announcements, other than I have one. Representative Eric Gisler has a birthday today. Is that right? Happy birthday, sir. He's 39th for the 11th time. Yeah, that was something like that. Happy birthday, Eric. That completes our work for the day. Don't forget, come join me for page photos. With that, I'll recognize the majority leader of this House for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that this House stand adjourned until Monday, March 16th, 2026 at 10 o'clock a.m.
On the motion of Majority Leader Estration that this House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. March 16th, 2026. All those in favor will say aye. Those opposed will say no. Yep. Y'all are listening though. The ayes have it. See y'all Monday. Thank you for your day. This House stands adjourned.